Hey everybody, Brad from So Video Games here. Just wanted to pop into your feed for a second and let you know there is something happening. So I wrote a post about this on GameCritics.com, but just in case you don't go there or you didn't go there this week or you haven't seen it, I wanted everyone who listens to So Video Games to know what's going down. So I'm just going to read that statement verbatim and then I will let you get back to your normal feed. Here we go. Way back in 2008, the original GameCritics.com podcast was an audio project started by some of the earliest members of Game Critics. Hosted by the incomparable Tim Spaeth, the first episode starred owner and founder Chi Kong Liu, the horror geek Mike Bracken, and yours truly. Together, we launched into the world of podcasting and turned out a good number of shows over the years. It eventually ended for various reasons, and So Video Games took its place, but every so often I'll get a request from a past listener asking where they can catch the original GC podcast again. Not the easiest question to answer. Several years ago, Game Critics changed hosting services, and at the time there was no easy way to bring all of the content over. It got done in a rough sort of way, but there was a ton of manual cleanup to do on the files, and many of the pieces we thought were successfully transferred ended up being corrupted and unusable. One of those casualties was the Game Critics podcast. None of the pages listing the shows were functional, but not all was lost. Almost all of the files were still there, so I went through and saved as many as I could, and then they sat on a hard drive in my desk for quite some time. And also, kind of weird to think that, out of those shows, all those years, the jokes, the laughs, everything that we did on that podcast, that it wasn't really anywhere except in my desk. Kind of a head trip to me. Anyway, I had always intended to go back and restore functionality to all of the shows, but it was a Herculean task to take on by myself, in addition to maintaining the day-to-day running of Game Critics and all of the real-life stuff I do. Little things like earning a living and being a parent. But I think today is the day. After getting yet another request for access to the show, I think the time may be right to finally get it done. My current plan is to post at least a couple of GC podcasts every week. No frills. I'm not going to have the interstitial stuff or any images or anything like that, but they will at least be able to be heard again, and all of the fans who want to go back and revisit those golden days will finally be able to do so. You'll find them in one central location here at Game Critics, and I said that because I posted it at Game Critics. So basically what's going to happen is, if you want to hear all of these, you can either just keep listening to your feed here, or go to GameCritics.com. There will be one central podcast page for this show. So you can look it up in the search, and then you'll see all the episodes listed on one page. You don't have to go anywhere else. So the only thing to know about, or be warned about, or just be aware of, is that these shows are going to be hosted in the exact same RSS feeds where So Video Games comes out. I don't want to pay for another channel. I don't want to manage another channel because I need to just keep my sanity. And to do this, which is a huge task, it just needs to be as easy on me as possible. So anyone who subscribes to So Video Games via a podcast app or anything like that where it gets sent to you, you're going to see the old Game Critics shows popping up in that feed as well. And I want to apologize in advance for anyone who finds this to be inconvenient or annoying. I think it's a small price to pay to make these shows available to all the folks who've been asking me over the years. So I guess if you're not keen on hearing the old stuff, just please delete it. And I promise a new So Video Games will be in your feed before you know it. Otherwise, I guess, I don't know, give them a listen and see what we were up to all those years ago. Thanks very much for listening. Thanks for your patience. Thanks to all the people who have sent in requests for the Game Critics podcast over the years. Sorry to keep you waiting so long. And I'll be back with a new show soon. See you then.